Yes, yes, yes. What is up? What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube, obviously podcast from iTunes, Spotify, radio, etc. I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. We're talking all things boxing today, breaking down Ryan Garcia's fight, Caleb Plant's fight on DAZN and Fox, respectively, plus all of the news and rumors in the boxing world. Canelo offers being sent out to Caleb Plant and three other people. So Billy Joe and Callum Smith, you better step up in terms of negotiations per Oscar De La Hoya, plus a ton of other news to get to in the boxing world, as I said. So without further ado, let me get to the panel so we can get to all the topics. First up, let's go out to the UK, Mr. Robbie Hearns, second cousin, twice removed of Sir Eddie. Rob, how are you, man?
Yeah, doing good, doing good. Glad to be back. And some fights Friday night, Saturday night. Ryan Garcia with devastating display. Really turned up, and the world kind of went a little bit crazy for it. So yeah, Ryan Garcia, stardom starting to flicker and go in a good trajectory. Caleb Plant done what he needed to do, and yeah, there's other topics, or the whole Canelo sweepstakes, who's going to take it, that kind of thing, and messages from Oscar. You've got till Monday, but we'll chop it up. So make sure you subscribe, share the show, hit that thumbs up on your way in, out, or whenever you listen to this. And yeah, Gary, how you doing, man?
Gary in Dallas. Gary, what's up?
Good weekend of boxing. A lot to get into. I have a lot of thoughts on these things. I'm excited to chop things up today. So let's get the ball rolling here.
Let's first go chronologically speaking to the Ryan Garcia fight on Friday in the Honda Center, Anaheim, California. Ryan Garcia brutally knocked out Francisco Fonseca in dominant fashion, 90 seconds with a check hook. And like Rob said, it went viral. Like millions and millions of views on multiple social media platforms show that this knockout went viral, and plus at least 10,000 plus crowd in the Honda Center is pretty good turnout for a prospect with no belt on the line and a fight that we all thought he was going to win. I am kind of blown away by Ryan Garcia's performance, and stretching it out to the Caleb Plant fight, even though we're not going to talk about that yet. This weekend as a whole is a great indicator of how promoters can still sort of build ticket sales and drive that as a market in the U.S. still. Even though promoters like Bob Arum are saying that's impossible nowadays, Caleb Plant and Ryan Garcia respectively prove this weekend you can still do it in terms of location. But digressing back to the DAZN card and the Golden Boy card, Ryan Garcia looked impressive. Rob, obviously me and Gary did a post-fight reaction show late Friday night, so you have yet to really give your thoughts on Ryan Garcia's performance on the channel. So thoughts on Ryan Garcia's performance? What were you as impressed as I was? Were you a little more moderate with your opinions about Ryan Garcia like Gary was, or were you so critical of him? Thoughts on Ryan Garcia now that he had that viral moment?
Yeah, no, like you say, it's mega viral. I just checked DAZN's tweet of it, 4.6 million just on the highlight tweet. And I know Sports Center shared that. That's quite a big deal. Sports Center sharing it. Obviously, they're going to be heavily pushing the Wilder and Fury, but to cop a little retweet from Sports Center that's a nice touch. So, but yeah, the performance.
To add context to what you just said there, Rob, for those that are listening, ESPN and DAZN commonly and routinely have not worked well together in the past. Times they've had, but not always. I mean, there's been even times where there's been rumors that ESPN has blacklisted certain DAZN fighters and fights from media.
Joshua, right?
Yeah, Joshua Ruiz, the first one, was infamously said to have been blacklisted by ESPN at the time. So good to see that. Good to see an olive branch being extended from these networks. But back to you, Rob.
Yeah, but as far as the performance, I'm impressed. There's been a bunch of highlighted sort of showing him basically repeating that sort of that left hook, that snappy left hook, and he tried it a couple of times, didn't quite come off, and then he found the connect button, and that was lights out. You get a little worried, and with Fonseca's head bouncing off the canvas like that, it was little scary moment. And to Garcia's credit, he took a knee and was had his head down. Now, look, whether he was legitimately praying for the guy that he was going to be okay, or if it was just a smart, to look great. Either way, that's a good sign. He's either really switched on or he's just a genuinely nice lad. And I tend to lean towards he's just a nice guy. And he was a little bit worried, because I was, when he literally was lights out, no arms went down. When you sort of knock down, you put an arm down, you fall a little bit. But it was almost arms by his side or in the air, whatever. Nothing to break his fall. I mean, if anyone saw the clip of the kickboxing knockout, with the referee catches the guy on the way down, that was, that's what Fonseca needed. But obviously, it was like a flash. I mean, the speed on the kid is unreal. Obviously, the power seems to be there. And the only reason I'm a little bit not quite like completely blown away is just Fonseca is kind of like career 130-pounder. Ryan's, I don't know if he's is he a big lightweight?
He did say he only weighed 140 pounds on fight night, and Fonseca weighed 149 pounds.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, but still, we give Tank enough grief for bringing up people from a lower weight class. We're probably going to be doing it for Crawford coming up. So, we have to point that out, that Fonseca is actually like a 130-pounder, but still the skill, the speed, it was impressive. And like I say, it seems to have really caught on people. Like, I think Garcia beats Tank. I think, it just stirred up a whole bunch of conversations, and his name is thoroughly thrust into the spotlight right now. And things with Renaso looks like it's really coming on, like a smart move. Gone from looking impressive in his garage to performing in the ring. And the only way is up at the moment for the kid. And obviously looks like it's all eyes on Jorge Linares going forward.
Quick thoughts, because I want to jump in with Gary, but quick thoughts, Rob, on Linares' performance. I was significantly critical of Linares' performance, even with the 4th round TKO KO victory. I thought he looked significantly over the hill in terms of athletic ability compared to how he looked against Anthony Corolla and others in the past. Gary was a little more sympathetic of Linares' performance, especially since Carlos Morales is not a bad opponent. But Rob, quick thoughts on Linares' performance. How did he look in your opinion? Is he back, as the announcers were saying?
He's like back, but he's just back a little bit different than he was, if you know what I mean. It's not the Linares at his prime. He's not. Let's face it. He got cut, didn't he? He got a little cut, as he tends to do. Don't think his head movement was anything like what it used to be. I don't think the reflexes were quite there. Still looks fast in his punching. Probably not, again, what it was. So I think this is a real, because he's still got class, right? He's still been there, done it, experienced, like multi-weight champion, right? And yeah, I think it's still a stiff test for Garcia, but I think he can come through it. And I got no problem with Garcia going into this fight. I saw people saying, I don't know, this might be too soon. And the other people were like, oh, he beats Tank, he beats Haney, he beats it. So let's find out, let's find out. He's hot right now. And this is I think they've booked out Staples Center for this. I don't know if there was a date attached to that.
July. I don't know if it was a specific day, but I know they said July.
Right. So yeah, look, it looked like a packed house. I don't think all of the top tier was sold out. I don't know if there's much of a walk up, but it looked like it was selling well fight week. So I don't know about walk ups. I'm sure it done a few more, but it looked packed. The place went crazy when he'd done his thing. I know you don't like it, Matt, but he's obviously friends with the Paul brothers. They were there, got the reaction. So everything about it just has got, his follower. I think his followers increased by like another 150,000. He's knocking on 5 million now on Instagram and stuff. It's all going in the right direction. So a win over Linares just cements that even further, I think, because I don't think Linares is done, but he's not the same guy he was. But I think still a win over Linares is a big name on his resume.
Agreed. Gary, we're now a couple days out from our reaction to show from it. Thoughts on it? Any different thoughts from that night to now?
No, I still have the same thoughts on both Linares and on Ryan Garcia. I think Linares, I'm not going to say back, but I still think there's plenty left in the tank. He's not what he was, but he's still good. I think he's still good enough to beat Ryan Garcia at this point. I think Ryan Garcia's performance was excellent. I mean, there's nothing to criticize except maybe you want to criticize the opponent, but I thought I would be hypocritical to say that because I thought the opponent, I thought Fonseca wasn't going to win, certainly, but I thought he would make him think. I thought it was going to go to the distance. I thought Fonseca would survive, and this would go 10 rounds, and he'd win 2 or 3 of them. But he clearly doesn't win the fight, but he was going to leave people thinking, wow, King Ryan's not that good, really. And then you left with the exact opposite impression. So I can't say anything bad. There was a perfect left hook, and he had hurt him twice before that, so it wasn't like some lucky punch from the guys like Anthony Joshua said. He knew it was coming. He couldn't do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? It was a great performance. The speed, the athleticism and the speed we knew was there. I'm guessing it looks like the power is real because that was a guy that it took Tank Davis 8 rounds to knock out. That knockout has a big question mark on it. Obviously, Tevin Farmer couldn't knock him out. So, I mean, like, there's something to be said about King Ryan's power. It's not that he's just beating up on tomato cans.
Yeah, speed kills, man. Speed kills. Look, I think there's a super slow-mo of the finish. And Fonseca's right hand is about 9 inches away from where it set off. And he's eating leather. Like, it's rapid.
He hit that left hook mid left right hand. Like it was so nice because Fonseca threw that left hand, and then as he brought it back to throw his threw his right hand, as he came back to throw his left hand, boom, the check hook came instantaneously mid combination. It was perfect. It was textbook check hook.
Yeah, it's just the most insane lightning fast counter. Is unreal.
Quick LDTB in the chat, and I remember this now. Saying Matt, they said it's going to be the same date as Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman, which is a UFC fight, and it's supposed to be a big one as well. Oof.
Do you think we get background shots of Linares and Ryan having a kip on the sofa while they wait?
Look, here's the thing. A big benefit to Ryan Garcia, or a big contributing factor to Ryan Garcia going viral Friday night, is that he was the only combat sport offering that day. The entire combat sports community was paying attention to Ryan Garcia. That included boxing fans, MMA fans, everyone, because everyone kind of knows who Ryan Garcia is. He is that well known in this overall community and industry, not just boxing, but the entire combat sports industry. Putting him on the same day, not just a boxing event, but now a MMA event that's a big pay-per-view with 2 guys that are trending towards superstardom on their own right in the combat sports world, and Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal. It would be such malpractice from Ryan Garcia's promoter to put that event on the same exact day. If I was them, I'd do the same thing they did here. Make it a Friday night event. I know there's always a concern about Friday night events selling and ticket sales and all that, but clearly it worked here.
And Valentine's night as well. People might have been busy, you know?
You know what's so funny? I was talking to a buddy about the fight, and he mentioned like his sister went to the fight with her boyfriend. And I was like, how did that happen? And, I was like, how did your sister get roped into that bullshit? And he was like, it's a date night. And it sells, maybe not Valentine's is obviously going to work for July, but still, I think Ryan Garcia in a Friday night Staples Center fight with Jorge Linares is going to be a much better idea than putting him on Saturday primetime neck and neck with a UFC pay-per-view. That's just my thoughts on it briefly, that Ryan Garcia benefited hugely from being the sole combat sports offering on that night. I think even having the Caleb Plant, if he was on Saturday and he was, going up against Caleb Plant's card on Fox, that would have hurt him. It just would have naturally. It would have split the market.
Where is that UFC fight?
Ooh, I don't remember where. I'm going to assume either MSG or actually it could be Barclays Center too. Or Vegas. I don't know exactly. I don't remember. I can look at it really fast if you want.
I just wondered, will it be a case of it doesn't clash or?
Well, I think even if it's on the East Coast, it still would clash. I don't know why it wouldn't clash if it's on the East Coast.
About the time difference, that was all. Because
No,
Golden Boy starts early, right? So it would be.
Look, Rob. I mean, we had this happen. You mentioned it. Canelo Kovalev was in Vegas. Kamaru Usman, not Kamaru Usman. Sorry, Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz was in MSG. That was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
They pushed a card that started earlier in Canelo, because Canelo card did start earlier, but they pushed it back and waited that extra hour or whatever it was for the event. So it didn't really matter at the end of the day, even if they started earlier when they had Canelo. I would assume it wouldn't matter here. And still, you still have a massive event that is just trending probably bigger than a Ryan Garcia fight. It just is. I'll be honest. Masvidal Kamaru Usman is a bigger event than Ryan Garcia or Linares. Just pure metrics.
Yeah, no, just
trying to look at that a bit fast on location. But guys, quick thoughts on what is Ryan Garcia's ceiling, both from a technical perspective and from a star power perspective now, post Friday night? Anyone want something?
For me, star power is, I don't know. He is like the next golden boy. He could be the next Oscar De La Hoya, right? It's the good looking Mexican American that, as it's shaping up, you look who potential fights could be. Whether we get them or not is another matter, but a Devin Haney, a Gervonta Davis, it's the classic African American against Mexican. It's just he could be huge. Now, does he fulfill all that potential? That's up to him, and how the fights go, building up to these moments. But I think he can be huge. He's 21, 5 million followers, viral knockout moments. Everything's pointing in the right direction. I think sky's the limit with the kid. If results go his way and the fights are made, I think he could be huge.
By the way, the Masvidal Usman fight's not official yet, but it would be in Vegas because it's International Fight Week for the UFC, and that's always in Vegas. It's their big, huge fan week that they put on every year around Independence Day weekend. Gary, same question to you. Thoughts on his ceiling now? I think we all thought his ceiling was a certain level. Maybe not a week ago, but maybe just a year ago, we thought his ceiling was a certain level. I think throughout the year, we've seen that ceiling slowly go higher and higher. What's that ceiling, in your opinion, technically, from a technical perspective and from a star power perspective?
I mean, obviously, he can be a star. That's for certain, right? But do you want to be Vince Carter or do you want to be Kobe Bryant? I mean, how good do you want to be? Vince Carter was a star, right? Because he was the best dunker I'd ever seen. He had this incredible physical, natural gifts. And then Ryan Garcia's got natural gifts and physical ability, so he's going to be good. It's just, I mean, is he going to be Kobe Bryant or is he going to be Vince Carter? Does he have the drive to be the best? I don't know. We said the Velez fight where he didn't like the exchanges on the inside. That was a while ago. Has he grown from then? I don't know. I mean, he's been around Canelo, but I mean, you can't take Canelo's heart and put it in someone else's chest. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, it's a good camp to be in. He's doing all the right things, but look, he doesn't have to win these. He doesn't have to beat Tank Davis. He doesn't have to beat Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez. He just has to go in there, be competitive, and fight all those guys. De La Hoya lost to Trinidad. He lost to Mosley. He lost to, I guess he beat Ike Corte, but not really. But he lost to Pacquiao. He lost all these fights, but he fought them all, right?
You're right, yes.
And he was competitive in every single one, except for the Pacquiao fight, which was the end of his career. But he was competitive in every single one of them.
Even to a lesser degree, like it's not the Oscar De La Hoya level star power. It's just not. But like Fernando Vargas, a guy that was beloved in the early aughts, in the mid aughts, right? Like a guy that was really liked in the boxing community, sold a lot of pay-per-view units as well as a B-side, like had a real place in boxing history. He lost all of his big fights, predominantly speaking.
He beat Winky Wright, didn't he? I guess that's not a big fight to fans. It's big to us, but yeah, the hardcore. He lost to Trinidad. He lost to De La Hoya. He lost to Mosley twice. But all the fights were good.
Yes.
Really good fight.
Yeah. I definitely see Ryan Garcia's ceiling now as being at least that, right? Like a great sort of B-side star. At the very least, he's going to be a Fernando Vargas or, maybe this is too positive because it probably is, but like a Miguel Cotto to a degree, not where he's a 3-division champion, but just that terms of star power, always being a perfect B-side matchup to a degree.
Have you seen Fernando Vargas recently?
Yeah, he does not look good.
But he's tremendously jacked. He looks like he's about 250. Like, he looks like he's on roids or something. He's huge. He looks like a weightlifter.
Oh, he actually started like lifting weights and turned that.
Yeah, because remember he was real fat. Like, really, yeah, he's still got like a big gut on it. Like, what do they call it? Like when you're buff and fat, like
Bulky.
Yeah, he looks like the guys that like remember the I don't even know if you all enough to remember this, but the strongman competitions that like they throw a keg over a wall. He looks kind of like that.